Aunt Patty's on the square. Park County's oldest antique mall, with 22 years on the southeast corner of the square. We have 25 dealers who take great pride in stocking and maintaining their booths. In 7,500 square feet, you can find almost everything from the smallest penknife to great jewelry, vintage coins, sports cards, dishes like Grandma had, all the way to a large piece of furniture. We're open 7 days a week. Our hours are Monday through Saturday, 10 to 5, and Sunday, noon to 5.
Okay, I got 6:32, so we'll go ahead and get started. Sign those claims. Darla will not be here tonight. She contacted me and said she had to work late. Are you missing a sheet for these?
Do what?
For the town. A sheet to sign like this.
Oh,
Might have got the wrong packet for it.
yeah, I gave you
Okay.
there,
I'll set that.
that one, and yeah, that's for them.
That's Alex, that's right.
Yeah, that's the balance stuff. Grab your own ones. I had them all in a pile. I thought you'd be taping the results coming in or something.
Put that over there when this. When you guys
Oh,
are
okay.
done, but
It's still fresh
I'm
enough.
I'm not gonna stream anything. Just update the website as they come in.
Oh, okay.
And I'll probably be done by the time I get there anyway. That'll be okay.
How's your trip to Louisville?
Made it down, made it back. I drove. I think that's why they asked me to go.
I'll get a $30 bill here in the mail for crossing those bridges. And
Oh, they said that they thought, well, a car could cross twice before they send you a bill.
is that right?
Because one of the ladies I went with, both of her sons live on this side and go into Louisville. But coming back, we came across one that's not the toll. But going down, we did.
Second Street Bridge.
So, but yeah, we get them for the semi all the time. I'll say, I thought you weren't taking that toll bridge. So I see you
Somebody
did.
told me they just doubled it. Like it went from 4 to 8.
Well, they talked about already being paid. They were supposed to start getting credit for it. That they've already paid for them.
For the bridge?
Yep.
Really?
Yep. So I don't know. And I got 2 cards about a lawsuit, so I don't know. Because we paid, so. Well, I said, I just threw them aside to wait and see. A semi is 12 something one way.
Running local routes, that.
So, yeah, that was, yeah.
You have to go to the hospital?
No, I just had to go get x-rays. I refused to go to the hospital.
That check for $20,000 to Westford, is that consulting fees, is that what that's for, or?
That was for the PER.
Oh, okay, I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, that was our half. Remember, we we have had that
Well,
agreement.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so that was our half of our responsibility.
okay.
And if it doesn't come to play, we pay the other half then, right?
If it does come to play, we pay the other half through funding sources.
Oh, I thought if it come to play, they were gonna pick it up, and if it didn't come to play, we had to pay the other half.
I thought it was half, wasn't
It was the other way around.
Oh, cause I thought he dug it out and read it. even.
They would eat the
Oh.
20, they would eat their half if
Okay.
it doesn't come to where we have funding for the project.
Yeah, cause I was trying to mess with that report. That's not mine, that must be yours.
Oh, it is mine. Under old business, we talked a little bit about the park fencing in the park of Bloomingdale Youth Association at last, not Bloomingdale, Turkey Run Youth Association. And Blair was here and gave us an update on the plans. One of the problems up there is the fencing. Somebody has cut one top rail and a section of fence out, and
it? Simply gone.
that's been a while back. She took it upon herself to get a quote with our blessing. Quality Fence out of Terre Haute quoted her, it was over $14,000 to repair that fence.
Whew.
Yeah. So I asked her to go ahead and look into others, and she has not had a chance to get a new quote, but the Amish fencing company had quoted her last year over $7,000 to do the same kind of repair. I don't know if I don't know how much of that is replacement of fence and how much of it is just repair. But I would like to at least talk face to face with them before.
Because both of them still sound high.
They are high. I think that new green fence we put up there, all brand new, layout, was $7,000.
Yeah.
So I think it is high. I know there's a place out in Montgomery County that does fencing, Lowe's fencing, but I don't know if you know of anybody else.
Well, I mean, defense them, and we'll tell you this, materials are outside in price, so,
Yeah.
I mean, hang on, it's
Yeah.
not stopped, so.
If my memory serves me correct, that fencing was put in by the Youth Association with our blessing, and they purchased all that through a grant. Well, at the time, we did not take responsibility of any of the purchase or any of the upkeep of the fence. That was strictly a youth association piece.
Was that just a gentleman's agreement, or?
It would have been in our notes
Okay.
from the time, and that's been a few years ago. So, I think we've got to look at that. I think it was terrible that somebody went in and cut that, and I don't think it was anybody, I'm positive it wasn't anybody from the town that did that. I have no idea why that was done.
So, those two quotes, 7 and 14,000, and you're talking about this repair, what, in your opinion, what would it take to repair it? Well, I've seen it, I've not drove up there to look at it, but I've seen it.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think it'd take to fix it, I guess, is a better question.
Well, I would say a few $1,000s would fix and retighten that fence. Well, when they cut up that top rail and just cut the chain link all the way down, all the tension went off of it, and each pole, So I think you'd have to put that new top rail and at least a section of fence in there to retension it. But they've gone well beyond that in their quoting.
The reason I'm saying this, Kevin, we had to have them work all the time. Our pole yards, cable yards, all that stuff, they cut those fences, especially the Crawford's were real bad about it. Those outfits come out, they just take this cheap piece of chain link,
Yeah.
and they weave it right in.
Right.
They were reasonable repairs. They weren't cheap, but they were still less than $7,000 or $14,000. I'm trying to say.
So my plan is to get a hold of that company out of Montgomery County, and then maybe call that Amish company back in and see if we can get a better understanding of what's needed there. Other than that, I'm not sure what else to do. It needs to be chain link. It needs to be protective for the kids. So it has to be the right kind of fence.
Well, I guess the better question was, the chain link was just cut, is that right?
Yeah.
Do we know why they cut it? Did they cut it trying to get mowers in, or can they get in another way?
Yeah, there's a gate on that upper
That's
diamond.
what I was thinking there was, but I wasn't sure.
I have no idea, and I think it had been cut a while before I even knew about it. I have no idea why they would have cut that fence. So I'll find out a little more, and Blair's going to find out what she can as far as who can service it, and then we'll get some other prices. And
So you think it's an act of vandalism, or somebody was doing?
no, I don't
it
think so.
anywhere?
I don't think so. I think it's
They've done it for a reason.
yes, yeah. And I don't.
And since there's a gate out there, there's no other reason really to cut and get in there.
Well, the gate is on the west side,
West side, yeah.
and like you said, did they cut it so they could get in to drag the diamond? I don't know. There's really no reason for that in my estimation.
Because there's other, like Bloomingdale's all the way, it's not open. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
gate there at the end, but.
I don't know if it was
corner-
damaged by a mower and it was all just a mess, and they decided, but it wasn't very well thought out to cut that top rail and cut the fencing.
That's what I was driving at the top rail, what was some idea, unless they want to take something through there.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you get a chance, you might take a look at that too, and we'll try to come up with a plan, and I'll talk to the Amish and somebody else and see what we can do. The bleachers have been repaired. We had Brian Nelson repair at least one of the bleachers up there, replace the board that was rotted, and he put new lights in the concession stand and in the restrooms. Looked real nice. I checked those today. The Youth Association then came in and painted the bleachers, so they started helping with that part. Yeah. I have received the no semis signs, and so they're going to have to be put up here in the next few weeks. See if that does anything, and it helps you with, if you catch somebody, then we can follow up. Anybody else have anything under old business?
I don't know where's old business, not by, I do have something I want to ask, though, which is actually old business. So, I got off board, I was off, 3 or 4 years or something like that, and came back, whatever it was, and you guys had came up with a building permit.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw you over, my neighbors were, while I was sick, I saw you over there, and I didn't have a problem with that, but I have a question about it though.
Okay.
So when they come, and I'm assuming we're charging for building permits?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when they come and request a building permit and they get it and they pay for it, is that good for the courthouse to be recorded?
No. No, it's strictly in the town.
It's a town ordinance, not for them.
Yeah.
Okay, the reason I'm asking is because normally, that's another leg of that building permit is it gives the courthouse data for assessment.
Okay. It's still the property owner's responsibility to report to the assessor's office.
Well, supposedly, yes.
That's the way, yeah, it's supposed to work.
Okay. And I don't have a big problem with that. The other thing is, so your building permits. So let's just use Brian's an example right next door here. So he replaced the existing, didn't build on or anything like that. Was he required to have a building permit for replacing the existing?
No, not if you buy a home and remodel it. No, that's not.
I've had 2 people ask me that, reason why I was asking.
That's not the intent. The intent is if you change the footprint, put up a fence, put up a garage, things that would be a detriment to town utilities, to easements, to right-of-ways, that we can help a homeowner avert problems down the
Oh, I
road.
understand that, Kevin. I just want
That's the
to,
but no, if you want to remodel a bathroom, no, it wouldn't have anything to do.
I know a lot of cities, I work in a lot of different towns, some of them do require, some of them doesn't, you know. If it's like for like, you don't require.
Right. No.
Good example, your grand air conditioning, requires building permit. And a lot of cities like that, little towns, even Rockville like that.
Yeah.
So that's why I was asking.
Okay. The reason the building permit came about is we were finding people were going in and just cutting a drive
Yeah.
right over the water meter. You know, and burying the water meter, and we found water meters 6 inches deep in stone, and broken water meter lids, and the one on Elm Street, they had driven over it with trucks to the point it pushed the water meter pit down that deep. It all had to be dug completely up, brought up to ground level again.
Yeah.
So that was at the point that the expenses were coming back on us.
Yeah.
And this is hopefully helps to eliminate or alleviate some of those problems.
That's,
Yeah.
I don't want to get in depth into it, I just want to ask about it.
That's the purpose, and the ordinance, Kathy has that ordinance, if you want to take a look at it.
Well, like your neighbor, like Kevin's brought to him, the driveways were built with extra cement on them, and
Right.
if they're gonna be driving over another part of the sidewalk, then that's gonna be a problem, so you're gonna have a broken sidewalk, just to make sure that, you know, like what he was doing, he's gonna use the one entrance. So just little things like that to help us.
I do know the sidewalk going north, they were thicker at the drive, so.
Right,
I know
right,
that for a fact.
but see, people don't know that, and so, yeah.
Plus, on that one, I didn't know that a drain went through that lot.
Yes,
And so I talked to Larry Harmon, he told me that it did, and where he thought it was going to be, and then I talked to the homeowner, and I said, you know, we think it goes through your low spot through there. The thing is, if you dig and you disturb the tile, break the tile, it's your responsibility to fix it.
right.
So they didn't have a problem with that.
You know, it used to be an easement right through there. That old garage sit there at the back, the concrete's back there.
Yeah,
When Dean Boneberg lived there, he was gonna build a garage back there, and then Powell had that field back there then.
yeah.
Then Powell stopped there today, he says, you might wanna move that. They got a big battle over.
Yeah.
Leonard just went to courthouse, got the papers brought back, he had to move that garage built there in the end of that. So I don't know if that easement ever got vacated or not.
Not that I know of.
Not that I know of, I lived there 36 years, and I don't
But
know if it ever got vacated.
It's hard to pinpoint where that easement is. I've had a couple property owners asking me about that easement, and without somebody going in and surveying it, I have no idea where that is. I know
I can give
there's
you an
electric,
approximate.
there's electric lines that go through there,
Yep.
and we can measure off of Main Street and get an approximation because of lot size, but other than that, we don't know. Yeah,
That's all I had.
okay. Brady?
Yeah, I was gonna ask him some questions, but
Oh,
Okay.
so. Other than that, same old, same old.
Anything new in town? Anything?
There's some more ordinances I'm trying to get served that aren't cooperating, but
It's my understanding the house on South Main has been
And there's
changed
a
hands.
dumpster down
was there a
there.
big
Yeah,
roll
some
of
of them.
dumpster? I saw it
Yeah,
there.
they're cleaning it up.
Yeah. So one of the things we want to encourage is that pool gets.
okay. I've already gave them their warning, so.
Okay, that was prior to this new.
Oh,
owner.
yeah, there's a new owner now, so
Yeah.
yeah.
That is my understanding.
That's
right?
my understanding, I haven't, that's just hearsay,
Yeah,
I'll check and see who it is.
so.
okay.
And I know I've had compliments on the one that we've been working on east of town.
Mhm.
I've had numerous people that they've noticed, but then now they're starting to ask about the one across the road. On the first house past
Overberg.
Overpex.
Yeah.
So,
On the north side of the road.
yeah. But I was surprised to start getting compliments that they've noticed that there has been cleanup.
And I think there's been a couple of cars removed from this one
Yeah,
down
yeah,
here.
there has.
I don't know about the one right up here, if you touch base with them.
Which one?
It's,
Crossing Hill.
across from the elevator,
Yeah.
second house on the.
Those people moved out, is what I was told. They were renting it.
No,
Which,
second house north on the left-hand side. They own it.
okay, I'm talking about the third.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're
Nobody
talking about
lives
the
in-
rental.
Yeah, nobody lives in that and has it for over a year.
Yeah,
It's the second house
okay,
that has all kinds of vehicles
okay,
there, just as a place to touch base with.
okay.
Do you have any areas for him to address or anything to address?
Well,
in
not
town?
that, but something about that, you're talking about that house right there, of course, we know who owns that. He won't mow that out front out there. Now, there's sapling trees growing up out front there now. We're going to have to do something with that. Gavin.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. I wonder if we need to see if Jason will go down and clean that up.
Well, my preferred way of handling is to round up 2,4-D it and just turn it into like a gravel space.
Well, that's my feelings too.
Yeah.
I've moved a couple times, I've tried to lower mine,
Yeah.
I quit, but now it's got saplings in it now.
Yeah, and that's a question I want to pose to Nick about the responsibility. I believe, if nothing better than understanding that the homeowner takes care of that all the way out to the street, but I don't know that for a fact.
Right.
And that's what everybody else does.
Well, yeah.
They take care of that. So, yeah, that property, that's been that
Same
way.
one with the cars.
It's
That's
the
next
one,
house. Next house.
Has-
is that.
the one you were first talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, all the trees around it and everything. He owns both of those.
He doesn't want mow out in front of that one.
Well, he's doing it for spite.
Yeah.
You could just,
Well, I'll give him an ordinance.
He
If
lives in the
take
next
care of
house.
it. Yeah, if he doesn't take care of it, just give him an ordinance.
Okay.
I go on deaf ears.
Yeah, he's the same one with the, I don't know if you were here when we talked about the dog issue.
Yeah,
That's the same person.
yeah, I've dealt with him many times.
Okay.
Imagine that.
We invite you to touch base with him again, please. Anything new on the reserve officer
Well,
paperwork?
I have it all done, but I'm gonna wait to get it approved by him. So I was gonna email it to him as soon as he came and gave me an email.
We have his email.
You have his email?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick saw her at something.
I'm
Just
sure.
send it to me if you can.
Okay.
Wallaslaw.net.
I was gonna say,
Yeah. Go ahead and do that and just touch base with him as needed.
And then I've got 3 applications. Once we get all that approved, that I'll bring.
Okay. That's good, because as we move a little further into spring and summer, then you have all the baseball crowd. You just, not that we anticipate any problems,
Yeah. Oh,
but there's a lot
yeah.
more potential, I think,
Yeah.
at that point.
Once Nick gets his part done, it shouldn't be.
Okay.
No.
We'll get that to him right away and let him review that then. Okay. Tom?
Oh, a few things. Finished up the 2021 audit and got it validated last week. We had 2 people in from the Alliance of Rural Water, and they did the validation for free, so it's a little bit better pricing than we had last time. Basically, we were roughly again 25% loss of water. And you'll remember January and half of February had a pretty good sized leak that had trouble finding, so it kind of makes sense. Did talk a little bit about fire department when they fill their trucks. You said they use the hydrant outside.
Mm-hmm.
They were telling me there's a meter you can put on a hydrant
Yeah.
and then just read it monthly or whatever, and then keep track that way whenever they're filling their trucks.
Yeah, I don't know about the meter part of it, and I don't know about the freeze and thaw, if there is an issue with that. That's,
Yeah, just an idea. I mean, we've been going back and forth how to
right.
handle that, so. Anyway, the 2 things on the audit that raises his little head again, like last time, was the fact that we don't have a calibration procedure for the, or testing and calibration for the meters at the households, which, you know, and then the main meter that we've got getting water from Bloomingdale, which there again, I don't see a big problem with it, but
You mean on calibration wise, you mean Tom, from
Right.
Bloomingdale, the main meter?
the main meter,
Yeah.
so.
he thinks Bloomingdale should be metering the water along with what we're metering, is what you mean.
No, the way that the contract reads is we're due to test and calibrate the meter based on Bloomingdale requesting us to do it.
Oh, okay,
And since they've never requested, we've never done it.
okay.
But one of the things is, you know, they're pushing more and more in this audit to be very precise on, you know, how much water you're using, where it's going, how much is lost. But that's up to the board how to work through that. But we did get the audit sent to the Indiana Finance Authority, and we got confirmation they've received it, so we're good there. The other thing I was working on was a consumer confidence report. Kind of put that together and sent that to you guys to take a look at, and if we're happy with it, we can post it. It's not due till July 1, so we got plenty of time.
Okay.
But once it's posted, we gotta notify IDEM that we did the posting within 90 days after that, so.
And I know I talked to Kenny, and he's gonna try to remember to let me know, which we've talked about, kind of, how many gallons, like, they fill up a truck, so I can write, because like this time, he told me there's 5,000 gallons, when they had that fire the other day. Well, it was back the 15th, they had a barn fire or something up there. So, I did put 5,000 gallons on here before I just put fire. But he said that if he was gonna tell Jason and him and some others.
That's a good way too, we just get a number of how many trucks they go off during the month.
Right.
Yeah.
That'll give us the same information.
And he thought that once they got in the habit of doing that, he said he didn't think that would be a problem to tell them.
They're after a figure.
So,
They're after a figure, yes, they are.
so yeah.
And if that works, that's save you $500 from getting a meter put on the hydrant, so.
So, but I said it's a start.
The water quality test results in that report, could you elaborate a little bit on a couple of them there? Just explain how the lead and copper, where they were at. Copper was singled out, it seemed like, in that one. Then you talked about nitrates, chlorine, etc. within the.
Okay, basically, the majority of those all come from Bloomingdale.
Okay.
Those are the ones that they're required to run. We just do the chlorine and then the HAA5 and the trihalomethanes, so.
And we do lead and copper every, 2 years or 3 years?
Every 3 years. We're due this year.
Right.
Thanks, Brady. I really wondered about the nitrates, because that's been a problem in the past. Are they exceeding?
No, if you look there were no violations on that, on those readings, so, well, there was on, no, they were all good.
Okay, so they did not exceed that on the nitrates.
Correct.
Okay.
And like I say, those are results that Bloomingdale's required to run, and we're required to report it in our confidence report because that's where our water's coming from.
Okay. I just want to make sure the reporting, if they did violate or go too high, that we were in turn notified. Because that was an issue early on with the notification process. Okay, so that's not an issue.
No, they look good.
That's good. Good to hear. Okay, thanks, Tom. Kathy?
First of all, we need to thank Ronnie Helderman. He got a new flag for the park.
Okay.
And I guess, does it not have chain things around?
The rope is broke.
Okay, so I guess Sharon has contacted RMC and they're gonna come put that up for them sometime.
Great.
But just wanted to acknowledge that Ronnie donated the flag to the park for that. And we still got our leak, staying about the same, about 35,000 gallons a day, compared to about 18 to 20. So I don't know if it's going into a drain or what. Futurex did use a large amount of water, but I couldn't get to read, so I think Jason's off tomorrow. I'm gonna see if he
That's
can
our
read.
daily usage, 35,000, or the leak usage is 35,000?
No, it's daily, it's about 35,000.
Daily is 36,017 for this past month.
So I don't know if maybe that might be it, that Futurex might have a leak, and it's just not showing up, because it shows 332,000 gallons, and they don't normally use that. They'll
For
use
Futurex?
150, they'll use 150 or so. So I'm gonna see if Jason, I think he's off tomorrow. I couldn't get to read this evening, and like I said, I've been messing with everything since 1 o'clock, so I was done. See if we can get an actual hard reading on that and see what's going on, and maybe that's a telltale sign right there.
Yeah.
And so,
It's hard to believe that one day we pumped over 73,000.
I know.
And there wasn't there was a low number the day before, 8,000,
But
but
see, I don't know if for some reason the tower would have been low, that would have, I
2
don't
days
know.
before that, we pumped 51,000.
So it doesn't make any sense, and nobody's really using anything,
That's a lot of water, 73,000.
yeah.
Yeah.
What does it show, does it show my?
That's 124 plus
Well,
8,000 the
our
other
average
day.
use, like about 23,000 a day,
We were down to 18 something.
18.
Yeah.
I remember one time it was around 23.
Yeah,
And
yeah. But that's 130 some thousand in a 3-day window. And then it went back down into the 36, 24 to 26 a day, so. Do you need me to initial this one?
Oh, no, that was Tom.
but those readings are off our main meter we're talking about.
Yeah, I try to go out every day, but I don't always go out, so some days I just, however many days I skip.
I mean, could that thing be malfunctioning?
Everybody tells me that when it malfunctions wearing down rather than up.
Yeah, because we just got it,
In
and
other words, you
if
would
it's malfunctioning, then these would all be malfunctioning, because I'm doing the same thing, basically.
Right. One reflects the other, yes.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And
What's today's date?
30.
May. Where's May? Oh my gosh.
yeah,
Gosh, I'm off a month. Okay.
so, while he's looking at that, then I'm assuming on this sidewalk bill, just go ahead and email it to Nick.
Mhm.
Is that where we go stand with that, since we paid it, and let him take
We
it up
paid
with
it,
him?
yeah, and, yeah, we should
Okay.
get any reimbursement back from
Okay.
him.
This is for last month's adjustments, because I haven't got everything done yet to do this month's adjustments yet on the water billing. It's just the church and,
Great. Initial that.
yeah. And you did see in the, I don't know if you noticed in the water, a lady asked for her refund back.
Yes.
Which I told her
That's
at the
fine.
time, I said, yeah, that's no problem. I said, I just didn't know where to send it, because I didn't have an address. And here's our two balances on town and water.
So is that minimum billing now, 36.29?
Is what?
36.29 is that minimum billing?
Yes, 2,000 gallons.
Yeah.
So, do you have any question?
I don't.
But I've got it all there if you
Yeah.
had to go. Would 5,600 gallons be a lot for the church? Because normally they're a minimum. But we had that visitation up there this month. I don't know if they've had any other. We had the Easter egg hunt that day.
Easter. Yes, that would be high for the church.
That's what I was thinking.
Sounds high. And does. Sounds high.
But that caught my eye today because I go down through them before I do any of my billing to see who's kind of high, and I thought the church is for 5,600 gallons. That seemed a little high, but I wasn't sure what all had been going on there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not out of
It's
sight.
not out of, yeah. So I thought that might be something I might want to keep. That's probably an old meter. I'll look and see what meter number it is and see if I can do a data log on it.
Okay,
That would be a good thing.
yeah,
See if I can do that.
good idea.
So y'all get up Jason's, like I said, I think he's off tomorrow, see if he can come up and hopefully he's not working somewhere else and maybe he can run and look at some of these meters.
Okay.
Actually get some hard readings on them for me. And I did get, I ordered, I think it was 3 more meters. And he checked the ones we had, and we had 5 that were good, that they must have like bad wiring or something with the antennas. He said you can swap those out. And I think Jason was just maybe swapping everything out at the time. So that gave us 5 more.
So we identified them and fixed it? Okay,
So-
good.
So yeah. So that helped in that cost. But I haven't gotten anything back as far as what they took then.
Okay.
So I'm still waiting on that. So, other than that, I think that's it.
Okay. What do you have for us tonight?
Same old
Same
thing.
thing.
Last time I was up there, I think you suggested that I get hold of Ronnie Black.
Yeah.
I did that. They came up and they plugged all my drains in my basement, the basement floor. They plugged all of them except the pit, the sump pit. It's at the lowest part of my basement. I've had 2 sump pumps in there. One's a big 2-inch and another 1.25 inch. It takes both of them to keep up for a long time. And then, like this last rain we've had, my basement's wet now. I've been working on it, fighting it all afternoon. I've got a cistern, an old cistern next to the house, and I asked Ronnie about that. He suggested go ahead and fill it, pump the water out and fill it up with dirt. I can't. It's hard for me to understand that is the problem, because I'm even between rains, my sump pump is constantly on and off. The pit just fills up so fast.
Right.
And today, it was water was boiling around the edge of my pit coming up. You know, you had
It's coming up where?
around my sump pit. I've got that.
So what
Plastic.
about the drains they plugged?
A little bit of seepage, not very much. My main problem now is around the pit. For 6.5 years, I lived there with a completely bone-dry basement. And then last December, I think I had my first flood. I've had 4 floods in the basement. I'm talking 3 to 4 feet of water in my basement. It comes up right next to my circuit breaker box. And if it gets in that, I mean, there's a fire for sure. And I don't know what else to do. I contacted Ronnie again, Ronnie Black. He said next time he's in Marshall, he might stop by.
Yeah. Any change in Smith's drainage and basement?
He's doing good now. That's what another thing I was gonna tell you about, he said the town fixed whatever problem he had. They took care of whatever they did. I don't know.
But what we did was the main tile that runs down the street it goes from south up to that lot here on the corner, and then it goes under the street back through the old apple orchard that way.
Yeah.
And all we had them do was to come in and make sure and open that up. I think there was a collapsed tile there.
Okay.
And to open that up, we didn't do anything on his property per se. It was just all of that.
I'm thinking maybe that's, can the town help me out on this, on getting, a camera or, I don't know what else you do, kind of shoot water through it or something, I don't know. I need to find something, find out for sure what's going on, because even between rains, my pump is still on all the time. I mean, there's no rest to it. It's like water just lays there constantly.
So before, you had open drains, you had a sump pump. And where did it pump it out to then? Because now I see you have stuff laying on the ground down there. Where did it pump it to then prior to all this? I mean, did it go up to a pipe and just leave or what? Before you put these new pumps in? How to get rid of the water? That's what I want to know.
To start with, there wasn't a pump down there.
Okay.
I got my first flood in December, and it run, got my furnace, and I've had 4 of them altogether, but my pump, after I got a sump pump in there, it went out toward my backyard. I put it out there probably 20 feet away from the house. That's where the pump put the water out of the pit.
So you didn't have a pump before then, okay?
No, not before the first flood, because it was dry, completely dry. I lived there 6.5 years before it flooded. And we've had some pretty good rains. That's what I can't understand. I'm thinking there's a collapse or something somewhere. I just don't know how to find out where. Because there can't be.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I got a sump in my basement too and a pump. When they built that house, they tied all my downspouts into tiles, went in that sump pit.
Right.
Well, I cut them all off and plugged that pump. My gosh, it ran for hours. And I got one I did plug in the basement right there. It seeps a little water, but it's not bad. But I don't know, it sounds like maybe there's a tile out there in your yard somewhere using your basement for a receptacle.
Yeah.
And that's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
It's plugged.
I mean, for it to be dry for that long, and then all of a sudden you're getting
That's my problem right there. For 6.5 years, I've been there over 7 years now.
It sounded like it was a tile plugged past you, and now you're getting all the water. You used to go down the tile. But that's what it sounds like. I don't know. I'm not an expert.
What can I've already, I've been through 5 furnaces. I've already spent almost $6,000 just because of the water in my basement. I'm about had it with it, I can't keep doing this. I don't know what to do.
So you had floor drains there. They went somewhere, evidently.
Yeah, it's almost a full basement, but it's in like 4 different rooms type thing,
I'm just curious where your floor drains went to. Those are the ones you plugged. I just wonder where they went to.
It looks like.
Because water's like electricity. It's going to take a path of least resistance.
It's going toward but where my main problem was before was the room closest to the road. The drain there before it was plugged, there was water gushing up out of the floor that high. And That drain was going toward the road, right at the corner of the road and my driveway. That's where it was headed, the direction of the tile that you could see, from the floor. It looked like a clay tile, not that big around.
It sounds like now the pressure's building up under the concrete, and that's the reason it's coming
Yeah.
up around your pit.
It seems like it. If you want to look, I've got a video. I took a little video of, if you want, I can show you that and give you some idea what it's doing now.
Well, that drain that runs down in front of you is not that deep. It would have never picked up.
I'm gonna say, I don't think that would pick up the basement because it's not that deep.
Yeah, there's just no way.
That cistern outside, it's more than 12 feet deep.
Yeah, I've seen the cisterns pretty deep before, yes.
But
If I can remember how to do this.
if the cistern would cause a problem, where is it coming into
Yeah.
the cistern at?
Well, there's a pipe. I took the lid off the cistern a while ago, and it looked like probably a 6 or 7 inch pipe that was just shooting water in there from the direction of that I was saying, from the corner of my drive and the road. That's the direction that the pipe was coming from to the cistern.
How deep's that pipe in the cistern?
It's down, I'd say 12 feet.
The pipe?
Mm-hmm. It looked like it to me. At least 8. I'll say 8, 10, 12. I didn't really measure that. I just measured the depth of it.
I don't know where water would be coming from like that.
It's just like a collapsed tile to me somewhere. The water can't get away, so it's going to the path of least resistance.
I don't know how to do the video thing, but I took this picture. This is my pit, my sump pit, my sump pump. The water is coming around. Yeah. I cut this out because
It was higher.
it was too high, above the floor. That way, if there's any water there to run to it.
So,
But I'm just at a loss for what to do.
Right.
And I don't
when
want.
they worked on it down in
I
March.
spent so much money.
Remember?
No.
I remember them being down, but I couldn't tell you what time of year it was.
Do you remember when they fixed that tile down there? It runs in front of Mark's and came this way.
That was probably a year and a half ago, wasn't it? Something like that, maybe.
Oh, a good while ago.
That's what I was thinking, it was a good while ago.
I see, and at that time, my drain basement was still bone dry, because what me and Mark had talked about his basement, I can't take off work every time it rains just to make sure my basement don't flood, I just need to get something done, I don't know what to do.
And that's a lot of water, because we thought that was where our water leak was, that we were down there
Yeah,
a couple
yeah.
weeks ago, no more rain.
That's a lot of water.
Than what we had, yeah. But,
I've got to call Ronnie probably tomorrow on another issue in town, and I'll pick his brain on that since he's already looked at it, and see if he can give us some direction.
Yeah, like I say, I called him and talked to him earlier today, but he said that he didn't give me a definite time. He just said next time he's up toward Marshall. But I need to get
Right.
something done.
But it's just clean water that's coming up through there.
Yes.
And we checked it for chlorine when we were down there, and it had just a minute thing of chlorine in it that Ronnie said wasn't enough to justify water from drinking water.
They got a camera.
I don't think Ronnie does. Like I said, they opened that whole tile up, dug up one place that was collapsed, down the street.
I looked at it down in that big grate there at the corner, this first
Right,
corner up
Right.
this way from me. I couldn't tell which way the water was flowing, but it looked like it's coming in from a couple of different
It
directions
does.
right there,
mhm,
and it's rolling pretty good.
mhm.
Now the manhole, whatever you want to call it, right in front of Mark's place,
Right.
it was almost dry.
Well, that tile that you looked into, the grate, it picks up water from all the way up here,
Yeah.
uptown, going south, and then from beyond Marks, coming back this way. So you would have two sources there. And then where it goes under the road, I bet that's every bit of a 36-inch tile. It's a big, it's big tile. Let me talk to Ronnie.
I'm just thinking in my mind that it would take a camera or some probing or something, to find out, make sure that all the water is flowing, like a storm drain, make sure it's all there,
Right.
operating right, and then, but before, with water shooting up off the floor that much, it almost told me that the line from my house out to the storm drain would be open, because that was, it filled up or whatever, had no other place to go other than up to my house. What that was doing to cause that much pressure, just ground seepage.
Yeah. If that
It's not
drain
gonna
in
do
front of Matt's place is almost dry, then that tells me that the water probably isn't coming from your front drain. I don't know what's in that alley behind the house, or I don't think there's a tile that I know of that even runs down that alley.
There is, I don't know, but
The alley that goes east and west.
Behind you, yeah.
Behind me?
right behind your house.
North and south behind your house.
That is natural alley back there.
North and south.
Yeah.
Between you
There's an
and
alley that runs behind
Oh,
the
yes,
brick
yes,
house.
yes,
It
that's
runs
right,
all
yeah.
the way,
Right behind my garage.
yeah,
yes.
way on down.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if maybe one of the houses on the backside, some reason the water's coming.
Yeah. But what he's pumping is a lot more than our water.
Yeah, it is.
Let me start with Ronnie and see what, do some brainstorming.
Good. Like I said, I've just got to get something done. I can't keep replacing furnaces. And
Right.
I'm afraid it's going to get in my circuit box down there and cause a big problem.
I'll be in touch with you.
Okay.
All right.
That's fine. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else have anything?
I'm sure everybody gonna forget something.
Yeah.
I'm good at it.
We'll stand adjourned. Thank you.